for past discretions. We just bought them.
Beautiful new dumpsters out there, those brown ones, out behind my Big Apple store.
Yes, that's your store?
Well, I work for C. Brown. I
Okay.
loyalty for all the Big Apples.
Okay, great. Because if you go by our facility, you'll see about 300 or 400 brand new containers there. So we're delivering all brand new containers, and we purchased already 4 brand new trucks. They were $540,000, about $500,000 each, let's say. I understand there's an issue with the containers. Now, the price for the roll-offs, for the boxes, it's every other week. They fluctuate from, $80 to, you can call 15 different garbage companies. Everybody's at a different price. We're not, Allen was famous for being underpriced, so we're not overly priced. But going forward, what I'll do, I think the gentleman, Dave, said, what was the low price that you got? 85, 71.50 was the low price for every other.
No, that was resident here in Hartford.
Where was that?
That was here in Hartford.
In Hartford was 71?
71.50.
Just went up.
Okay. So what I'll do, if it's okay with the town, is I'll let the people, we will lower the price to $75 going forward for everybody that has a container. I'm sure that would solve that problem. And the other thing was people throwing garbage in the dumpster.
It doesn't belong to them. Right?
What we could do is we could put lockable containers out. And what I'll do is I'll have my guy switch the containers out one by one. We're switching them out anyway, and replace them with lockable containers. Problem solved. The other issue was a couple of the bags, I understand, from, I guess, another town. This is new to me. I don't know all the towns yet, so please forgive me. Please, and I appreciate you taking me up and speak. I already spoke, as I was here, I was already texting operations. Make sure that nothing from any of the town goes here. Okay, so I promise you that'll never happen. I had no idea. We're new, so we're still learning. But I promise you, going forward, I will be here and I will do anything that I can to make sure that the town and we respect all the towns and all the communities, and we want to make sure that we want to be good partners with every community. And I think hopefully that the town here and the board recognizes that the fact that I came here in person to resolve these problems understands that we do care. I did stop by and I met.
Dan told us.
Yes, and this is one of the reasons why I'm glad that I had heard, and I'm glad that Dave called me to let me know that this was going on, so I could solve the problem. And if you have any other questions, there's one other thing I want to bring up. The residents have curbside. Eventually, what's probably going to happen is we're going to supply them with toters. The toters will say your town on it, and we'll supply the toters. They're big, heavy, with heavy set wheels. You can't buy them. They're commercial, and they're really nice. And a lot of the nicer towns in like other places, they make people buy them, but we're going to supply them at our cost. So your residents eventually will get toters, and they put the garbage instead of every house has a different garbage can. It really doesn't look nice, and the cans that the residents have usually aren't very nice. These are beautiful toters. They're big, heavy, with big lids on them. So
With wheels, you just roll them in.
you roll them in, you roll them out. I think that the residents of the town will really appreciate it. And then what we would do with the okay from the town is we would put your name on it, the town of Hartford, on each container. And so we're investing with you.
I could tell when I drove by the other day, you put out even more dumpsters, new ones out there to deliver, and I was like, wow.
Yes.
And we've had issues near Christmas where vehicles are broken down or the recycling truck isn't working, and we're trying to be patient, but when we start seeing
I'm not going to lie to you.
bad service, it's hard.
We did inherit, not to tell our secrets, but all garbage companies, we only keep a truck for 3 years. 3 years. Alan, the previous owner, he kept a truck for 300 years. He's an old-time guy. I I don't behoove him. You know, he's been in business for like 50 years,
Yeah.
so he must do something right. But it's different times, new times. If you go by our facility now, we have 4 brand new trucks. I would say within a month or two, every truck will be brand new. There won't be any old trucks left. Again, please remember, we are brand new, so you can't beat this up too hard. We just bought the place.
Communication is key. If
Yeah.
there's a vehicle or something breaks down or the weather's terrible, if you just contact the town office, even if we're not there, and leave us a message so that we can communicate with our folks.
Yes, and I will, and just so you know, as far as the pricing goes, you know, I understand it, and you know, I was never involved in the pricing. That was Alan, but I will, and the price I'm giving you is a very, very, very cheap price, I think, because remember we have a $500,000 truck going to each location. You know, it costs us an average of $300 per hour is the our industry norm to run a garbage truck. So we got there. It's expensive. We pay millions of dollars in insurance. It's not cheap to run a garbage company. So I'm just letting you know that I'm not trying to pull, you know. But
You can't just buy it off a lot. You have to often order it.
yes, and trust me, we're going to be with the toters. We're going to be investing a lot of money. So we're going to be partners with the town. We're looking to be good neighbors. You know, we're good people. We're hardworking people. And hopefully this time next year when I'm here, you know, you guys will be a lot happier. But I really appreciate you guys letting me speak. And I appreciate Dave bringing these problems up so we could address them. But I promise you, after I leave this meeting, I will address them. I will take care of them. And we'll switch out the containers with lockable containers, and we'll lower the price.
So the new totes, I grew up in southern Maine. Saco had big totes that when the trash truck came by, it actually picks up those totes. And so workers' comp is where people get hurt so much.
That's what we're looking to do. We're going to have a truck with an arm on it, so it'll pick up. It's made for that tote. So that's one of the reasons we want to do it. It's safer, less. When the guy's coming out and he's dumping, that's when all the injuries happen.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's really hard. It's not really fair to those guys. You know, where if a machine just goes by, you know, we'll still have a guy in the truck to watch everything, but you know, we'll have a driver. But it'll be a lot less wear and tear on the people. I grew up.
Recycling with the
What's that?
totes. How are we going to handle recycling?
I'm going to have to check. I don't want to say anything until I check, but we're going to be constructing recycling centers in the area. So not because we recycle, only because it saves us money. So we own one of the largest recycling centers on Long Island, and we're pretty famous for it. We do Stony Brook University, which is people come from all over the world to look at their recycling system, and we designed it and put it in. So we're very big with recycling. I'll get back to Leanne, right? I'll get back to Leanne, and she can let you guys know, because I can't have an answer for that. But please, if any of you have any questions, I left Leanne my phone number, right? But I'll give you my phone number before I leave. I'll leave it with Leanne, and I'll give you my personal cell number. So if any of you guys ever have a problem, day and night, if one of my drivers has a problem, and I even spoke to the owner before I even came in here, and Sherry.
I've been texting now when there was a problem. So.
Yeah. Well, no, the owner now, the new owner. We kept Alan's gonna, he's gonna retire soon. We kept him on for a little while.
Right.
Hope he stays on forever. He's a nice man, but supposedly his wife is forced him to travel. Yeah. So, but we kept his 2 sons on. He has 2 sons. We're going to keep them on. They're very nice. One's a driver and one works in the office. He's a computer guy. So if you have any questions, I'll gladly answer them now if you have any. Oh.
You said recycling facility that you have currently. I think my terminology is correct. Is it single sort? Do you do anything like that?
That's pretty smart what he's saying, because there's 2 ways of doing it. Most of the garbage now is single stream recycling, like David said. That was pretty intelligent. Most people wouldn't even know that. Years ago, a truck would go out and pick up the plastic, another truck with cardboard, another truck for the garbage. The carbon footprint, I mean, could you imagine those trucks get like 3 miles to the gallon. So now what they do now is they pick up the garbage comes to a single stream recycling center, and everything's separated there. And they have a very sophisticated system, so nothing goes to waste. So the metal, the plastic, and everything gets put into giant bundles, and it gets sold. It brings down the cost.
It does, because we get credits on our bill.
Yes. So I'm going to get back to Leanne on the recycling when those things go into
We don't
effect.
even have a lot going on, we just want to
Yeah.
make sure you're heading in the.
Well, you're definitely heading in the right direction, and trust me, as time goes on. And one last thing, those drivers that we have, they're going to be having 401ks that we're going to match. They're going to be having retirement fund. Their pay is going to go up. They're going to get uniforms. It's a totally different animal than my previous owner. So so we just got the booklets in just this week to hand out, so everything's yeah. So please, if anything forward, I'll leave my phone number, and if you have any questions, I will come down here 7 days a week if you need me. But I just want you guys to know that. What's that?
I said you have a contract, Archie's is a contract with C and Brown.
Okay, yes, I've seen that. Good. If any problems there, you let me know. Thank you. Yeah, but it was nice meeting you, and everybody was so nice to me. I appreciate it.
Kathy.
Yes, I was asking, I wanted to remember everyone's name. Yeah, I'm not so good with names. Us garbage guys, we're not that bright. But I appreciate it. All right, thank you. Thank you, Leanne. And thank you too, Dave. It was very nice meeting you. I appreciate it. If Dave didn't invite me down, I wouldn't even know him. I appreciate it. Good, thank you.
Kathleen, so what about the dumpsters, will we pick up on a different day so that we don't get charged for everyone? How else do you do that? Pick up regular trash and then dumpsters, dumpsters.
Well, the
How do
season,
you separate the pricing? I know 75, but what about, do you pay for the tonnage of the product separate from that?
so right now, what she's asking is,
Yeah, it's a flat rate, like, even, in towns, in Long Island, there are towns that we supply the garbage can. And, like the town, in one town in Long Island, we service for 100 years. We supply the can, and they're charged, more than that, than we're charging you. But, we bring the garbage to that town, and that town charges them, usually around $70 a ton. So they get two bills. They get a bill for the garbage, and they get our bill for supplying the container and picking it up. Remember, that garbage container that we're supplying is probably around $2,000 or $3,000. And then, our driver would come pick up that service. You couldn't get an Uber to come there a couple times a week, like what we're doing for that price. For $75, you got a $500,000 truck on there twice a month, taking with the garbage.
But my thing is, if you're putting that dumpster stuff in with our stuff, and then you're weighing what you bring, you're weighing
But
that.
either way, that garbage is gonna go there, whether they have a garbage can there or a dumpster, that garbage is still gonna go back to the facility. They're getting charged that $75 for the service to have a dumpster. They don't have to get a garbage can out every week.
So,
and they get it every other week, is that right?
Yes.
Those other ones.
And some people just want dumpsters, they pay extra for the dumpster. It's the United States, they do what they want, they don't extra.
do they make sure it's just trash and not like construction material and stuff like that that shouldn't be in there?
I think there's a huge education component here that we need to be talking to everyone that's using those dumpsters and those that are renting it too, that they expect us to be picking up those tipping fees. That is household trash.
We can send a memo out to them, notifying them, but we do tell them, you can't put construction equipment there. First of all, it's dangerous to the truck, because that truck, it's front end pickup, so it goes up, and this construction equipment come out and break the windshield. So we don't want construction equipment, you can't have 2x4s, cement, brick, both the windshield really dangerous. So, I don't think that's too much of a big issue here. I haven't seen that. I'll find out. I'll ask if there's construction debris. That's a good question. I will find out. But as far as the $75 a month for the container, the owner was here to grab his chest, and I'm getting enough money. But we will continue to do it for $75, like I said. Okay? Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, Recreation Committee, I don't think there's anything that did the Rec Committee, no?
I did talk to them about the exercise program here. I don't even know we were talking about that. Silver sneakers, which I exercise program, and I really didn't talk about this. The types of exercise.
Yeah.
Ask for emails. So what they want to do.
Well, I think it's a great idea to have some sort of group gatherings and get fitness,
Yeah.
keep people mobile.
Yeah.
Matter of Balance is another one, Silver Sneakers.
Yeah.
All right, calendar reminders, the Rec Committee meets on 2/6 at 5:15. Selectmen's workshop with the Fire and Rescue Group is next week on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Ordinance Committee meets on 2/6, and the town office is closed for President's Day on 2/17. Okay, unfinished business. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay, fund balance policy.
Terry said there were samples on it, and they said, I didn't have money to look for time.
No, I looked too, and
These are the two original ones I had from 2 years ago, I just changed the percentage.
so I brought you a while this afternoon, the fund balance policy for Rangeley, and they've got 966 people, which is like 5 pages long. The fund balance policy for us to look at from the town of Mercer, Maine, and they've got a little over 1,000 for population. Reedfield, they've got 2,600 people. We have 1,256, I think. And I have one for the town of Pownell, and they have 1,500 people. And town of Newcastle, they've got 1,800 people. So nowhere near, even though they told us to go to the MMA website to see that, really, etc. So I got some comparable towns, and I'd like to kind of put this off so that we can read it and see which ones are one-pagers. So, I know, thank you very much for getting the Scarborough ones. It was like one of the only ones that MMA gave as an example. Scarborough's got 23,500 people. We have 0.5% of what they've got, so. But some of it's really simple, one pager, basically giving us opportunities to say, this is how much we want to set aside. Here's some special funds that we set aside, like for our paving accounts and stuff. So, if we don't mind, I would like to bring this up at our next select board meeting, if we all vote for these. And this is your copy. I need one for you. Sorry. I got one for me. I laid it along. And thank you for searching MMA, because that was a big.
I put it on the list here too, it's not hit dollars,
Yeah. All right, we'll dumpsters. We're not done with dumpsters, I want you to know. Yeah.
I just want to make sure it's very clear. No matter what Pete just told you, you're still double dipping on private dumpsters.
They are, yeah,
Right.
they sure are.
Because I could get a dumpster in Canton who does not have curbside pickup, and they're gonna come dump it cheaper than they're gonna dump Hartford's, and Hartford's paying the tipping fee.
Right.
So,
Well, my hope is, or my thought is, as they come with these bigger containers, like I used to have when we were living here full time, these big containers, especially like in Saco, we could put everything in them, and they would divide it out. But these are huge containers, and if somebody needs more than that, then maybe they need to just rent a private dumpster and not go to the town. And they'll have to come with their own truck to, a different truck to come pick it up.
Something needs to be done about it. As well as the town dumpsters, but that's.
I mean, is he picking up business dumpsters? I know we
What's
don't
that?
follow them around all day. But
What's
is he
that?
picking up, are they picking up business dumpsters, like Bim's garage? Are they picking up his dumpster the same
Bim's-
day he's picking up ours?
The town pays for that dumpster.
Why?
You tell me.
How many of these 13 or so dumpsters do we pay for out of the town money? Do you know?
So we don't pay
How
for
many
the two
does the
seasonal
town pay
ones.
for dumpsters? How many of the dumpsters are town paid for?
There's 13 private dumpsters that they pay for individually, but the town pays for it. There are one in Labrador Pond, 2-yarder, 4-yarder in West Cove, which is seasonal.
Garden Drive.
10-yarder on Garden Drive, which is seasonal, a 2-yarder on Bryant Pond, and 2 10-yarders in Pine Shores. So the town pays for all of the tipping fees for all the dumpsters and rentals of those.
And rentals-
That's
and rentals of
included.
bins as well? You didn't add that on that list.
Yes, sorry.
I thought you
Yes,
said you had
Ben's,
two.
Ben's garage, corner of 140, that's a 2-yard every week.
Who pays for the one at his house? We pay for that too.
He does. But we pay it. We pay it,
Yeah.
like everyone else.
But
Right,
that's a commercial one, so
Right.
McNeil Farms is a commercial site, I don't feel we should pay for that tipping fee.
That's what Dave said, you have another truck come around and do all the dumpsters on a different day,
Right.
then we wouldn't.
Well, that's
be
right.
paying.
But then they have to set another truck up.
They have to send another truck right down in Variety and say Apple. Would it make sense that they pick up these other dumpsters that same day?
Right?
Yeah.
I know some are every other week and some are every week.
The dumpsters are every other week.
Not every dumpster.
Not on Tuesdays.
If they don't pick them up on Tuesday, then you can separate it. If they pick them up on Tuesday, you're not gonna separate the tipping.
Well, I know they currently do Rumford's curbside pickup on Tuesdays and ours on Tuesdays. I don't know, he's got 4 trucks. So, I don't know, he also does Mexico, but I don't know what day that is.
Jay.
Andre.
But picking up in Turner at residence is just,
They should have never accepted that business.
and he made it sound like it was no big deal, it was only a couple of bags, but a couple of bags every week, and how long has it been going on? And how many more are they doing it to as well, that we don't know? I just happened to see this one,
Right.
so.
And that new house on that road, Turner's got a dump, of course, and they can hire someone that brings their dump to Turner. Not to, with
Like I
ours.
said, I just want to make sure it was very clear that they are definitely.
And I don't wanna kill the messenger, shoot the messenger. I know they just took over and they have no idea really what's going on with the deliveries, but we do need to straighten this out.
Now's a good time to do it, 'cause you got new people.
Yep, and that'll put us ready, I mean, I hope we never leave if he provides good service. But we do have to put it out to bid, we wanna make sure we've got how many households, what's expected. And these big bins are gonna be, to me, they're gonna look so much more neat and tidy, and they hold plenty. If somebody needs more than one bin, I mean, I don't even have a problem sharing cost of the bin, because then people take care of them better.
Right.
Now's the time to make a change while we're new. And if you look at that contract, number 12 in the contract, it says they cannot assign the contract, our contract. So, you know, we have a way out if you so choose.
I think we need to get everything written together and call a meeting with him. And Dave and Lenny and Jay. And Jay, yes.
Are you going to write something that we can put on these dumpsters, or are you tasking the solid waste committee writing something to post on these dumpsters to say, look at Facebook?
So actually, I've already created something because I was really mad after I got that picture from David today of that big box in my dumpster from McSherry Lane. It's like, really? Come on. So I already have almost the whole thing ready to go to print. I actually have some big craft magnet, so I'm going to laminate it and two-side tape it to the magnet or glue it and
And we can put one on every dumpster?
every dumpster.
Beautiful. And you guys are gonna do that, or are you gonna test that to us?
I'm happy to give it to you guys,
Okay. Perfect.
but I'll get them all made.
Yeah, let us know.
But I really think we've got a great Facebook page. We need to be educating people saying, don't put your boxes in here. We get a credit for that. That is like, you know, your
Throwing
two
money away.
payments.
Throwing money away.
It's like a deposit. Yeah. And it'll be great if we get to a one sort recycling where they take everything and,
We do that in Buckfield, those dumpsters go down and go to the center. Bill said he went there one time and seen it, they got conveyor belts, things are going all different ways, once they go to the conveyor. They even take pallets and grind them up, and they got nails, magnets, they take the nails off.
that's cool. Well, it would be great because recycling is awesome. What's that? One sort recycling? I'm sure it would.
Because we've got quotes before you.
Well, I can't imagine he's gonna run two systems, and it sounds like he's working towards the one sort. But he won't be running a secondary truck, he won't need extra people if it's all one sort, right? Won't be a recycling truck, he won't need a,
And he's only using one person driving the truck to lift those things up, you know, that's only riding in the back.
it's quite a thing when they used to come to our house. Okay, I'll move on. Greater disposition. Yep. So I found two people that, somebody wants to look at it for metal. I looked at the state site to see if we could list it, as a greater needing work. I got one email back saying that, could they look at it and give them model numbers and stuff, and I didn't have any of that. To see what the weight was.
I think it has to go out and seal it.
What's that?
We can't do this out, and it doesn't have to be sealed in.
Right, but I'm just trying to get information on what it's worth, so we have some idea, and list that people can, you know, it might be worth something to sell it as a piece of equipment.
We sell the rock rich. So it's purchased at the same time.
I don't think people plan on selling rock rate. Right now, they use the rock rate, not on the grader anymore, they use the. Correct? They use the rock rate on the one ton, they don't run it on the grader.
Well, use it on one time.
Maybe it's sell it.
But it's not,
Yeah,
if
it's town property, and it's using it.
we come up with a better way, if we come up with a different way to grade it, we won't need that rock to keep them.
Right. Well, I'm hoping to get an idea of how to get these roads graded the right way and
Not
whatever
too
we
many
need for
towns that use the rock.
extra gravel and get those roads so they're. Just seems like every time we hear about a road, it's always getting ready, be grading it to plow it. Trying to grade it so that it keeps the quality of the road.
We're gonna add gravel to get it quality of the road.
I know. Yeah. That's if I didn't do that, I think. So.
First, I think we need to.
All right, so, as soon as I gather the rest of the information and where we can post this, and what we think it could be worth, because you don't just sell something blind. We want to have some idea of what we might think it's worth. And then we can have a sealed bid, and
If it's sealed, then
we can put
you
a
have no
minimum,
control over how much you get. for
we
it.
can put a minimum on there. Right? Just like we do with a house, we sell a house, they have to pay the minimum bid, is that correct? Yes.
How are you trying to determine what it's worth?
I just told you, I went to a couple of websites, I have a guy that wanted to know the model number to give me some idea of what the metal was, because I didn't know enough about the grade. But I wanted to know where we could list it so that we could get more than just 2 people bidding on it. So Dave gave me a site to look at, and I found a state website that we could actually list it on there too, for sealed bids and. Yes, Dave?
You probably can't tell me the right now, but can you
Tell you something, I'll tell you what it's worth.
the amount of what we have in equipment reserve, sometimes we have done. Just for manual.
I didn't know we had equipment reserve unless it was for the office.
Yes,
We
you
have-
do, because it's on,
We have equipment
it's
reserve.
on your survey for one.
Yes,
I
I
know
know
we
it's
talk about it at every budget meeting, we're gonna put that
we haven't bought like heavy equipment. That's what I mean. You didn't say, hey, let's save up for a dump truck. Just haven't heard that before.
You know, we do have equipment reserve.
So is equipment limited to large equipment? Just as equipment, could it be office equipment? So it's machinery.
As far
I guess
as,
equipment needs to be.
that's my interpretation.
I can look up the warrant article from town meeting that explains exactly what we use for. I don't have it right here.
Yeah, sure, that's right. Okay, a lost control visit update. So MMA is coming tomorrow.
This isn't that one. This-
Oh. That's
This
the
is
other
the one, yeah, the first one.
Okay,
They want me to finish answering whether or not we fixed what was wrong. It's in your packet. So the vapor area overexposed insulation in the garage or proper.
or take it down.
Right, that has been done. Or
He just wanted that one wall that was open. So he didn't do that, or was it flanking in those bags, I don't know.
There's insulation on the second bay all there. Wood stove,
Disconnected, we did that.
stove using this nickel. And the school, has that wood stove been disconnected?
The what?
In the schoolhouse? Unit school?
What was,
The wood stove,
oh, the wood stove's not connected.
it's not.
It's just sitting in the middle of the room. I think it's a pipe that goes up, but it's not connected.
Those are the 3 things I need to report back on.
Okay. So the wood stove's already disconnected, this one is. He didn't even ask about the fire light. The emergency light going in the basement.
Not, they probably said we were gonna change it.
Yeah. So when I was with him, he told me that there's some exposed insulation, so you either need to cover it. Not even exposed like pink panther. There's no paper or anything on it, so you either need to cover the wall with something or take the insulation down.
We just put all
With the what?
plastic, all
All the plastic on it. The place is, as far as I remember, so you couldn't even get into the building that day. There were signs and stuff, couldn't even barely open the door when the guy came to do his visit. So all he could see was one section, and it looked like some of it was covered, but some of it wasn't. I think that's the section he wanted to see.
If you need that done, you just buy the poly,
Okay,
for the,
you've got a whacker tacker? I don't know what they're called.
you know.
Hammer tacker. No, this is the guy's one. No. Guy's coming tomorrow, so there's not one.
Did you see the updated values for town buildings?
Yeah.
They waived the increase in fees for the rest of this year, but it's gonna go up next year.
Did he mention when he might be coming by again, if at all?
This time, no, just like we answered this
Yep,
online.
just asking if he thought he was gonna come back. So, but tomorrow we do have, the gentleman from workers' comp coming and going through our safety policies and looking at, the buildings to make sure they're safe for our employees and
Whether it's in order to qualify for the reduced rate discount that the selectmen signed up for.
so we get a reduced rate. Did you guys hear her? Right now we get 5% reduction. Huh? Yeah, absolutely. So do I need to go out and get a picture of that wood stove at the
No,
school?
no, I'll just tell her that it's gonna be committed. Be sure it is.
I think the picture he took and looked at it later, it shows the pipe going up, but there's like this much space between the pipe and the ceiling, it's not getting. It's a very cool stove. All right, new business, FEMA update. You guys wrote that in? Kathy. Me. So currently we've got a couple of jobs that have not been done yet.
A lot, as
A lot hasn't been done? Okay.
we only did emergency work, which have to prove receipts for. And this, we didn't pay for administrative costs, work to correct the actual damage permanently. Hazard mitigation to make improvements so this don't happen again, there's money for that. But it, you have to spend it on certain things, and everything's listed in the report if you want that.
And we have to spend it first before we get it back, or they'll give it to us ahead of time.
Then you get it up
And it's gonna be close to,
$476,000.
yeah, and is Maine locked into their portion too?
15%.
15%. So feds paying 85, states paying 15%,
75.
75.
Federal is 75, state's 15, town needs 10%.
Okay. What is the total amount, do we know, of what all the jobs that are still outstanding need to be done? I remember seeing a couple of things that Jerry put in, or estimates for some of the work that still hadn't been done.
You put it estimate for FEMA repair. But some work has been done.
Right. And if we can, and we'll be sooner. Okay, Pratt Hill repair planning. sounds like we already did that. So we've got the ad hoc committee in there and, get what needs to be done before we can get paid. Excellent. Brick grant deadline for matching funds, and it's coming right up.
Jeff wants to know if we apply, where's our share coming from? Some of the roads,
Do we even know what we're gonna apply for? We have some designated roads that we want to apply for a brick grant. It can't be FEMA roads.
but he was talking about one in this year.
Who was?
Jeff Stearns.
Drawing room? Is it? I think it's drawing room.
Yes, you're over across from the water road.
That's bad.
And the town will probably need to provide matching money. Will this require a special town meeting, or can the money be allocated out of existing budgets and some of those? I don't know how much.
Right.
Drawing room is one of those FEMA roads. Got this, bridge culvert, like,
Is that the grant one I showed you?
yeah, what's wrong with it? You got granite stones coming out of place. And then like this. And then
Up and out.
good.
It's due March, what's the date? 7th. So, basically a month. We need a project spec and, pictures and pricing. Paul, Jay,
If you get numbers on that particular project and we pitch in half and Brick pitches in half, or however that works, and it needs to be submitted by the 7th of next month, but the town meeting that it needs to be approved at isn't for another month or two after that, is it just need to be allocated by March 7th and then voted on later on, or is it locked in on March 7th?
well, the application will go in March 7th.
But
Then
we
if
can
you
back
get
out.
approved,
We could back out if we chose to at the town meeting?
I don't know why not.
well, you can't, you could not accept the money.
I mean, if the town voted and said, no, we're not willing to do that, we're not gonna be locked into that.
Yeah, fire applications, we got approval of the town meeting first.
And there'll be more brick grants this year. Usually there's 2 or 3 a year. Right. Seems like we need a structural engineer too, if we're gonna take apart the bridge. We know what that costs, so. This one on Pratt Hill was over 20 grand, 14,000.
Russell's what is that?
Russell Brook. Hey, Paul. Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good. Have you ever seen that bridge that they're talking about?
I don't know which one are they talking about?
It's out on Gauding Road. It's,
Pretty high up, it's down in the dip.
it's made out of granite, blocks, right?
Stones, you.
Stones.
What are you doing, Tom? I was at work.
I'm just wondering if you could just go take a look at it. Great.
mostly on, if you're coming from Darren Road, going down Garden Road, it's mostly on the right-hand side.
So I'm gonna say at this point, let's get an idea of, well, we'll have a good idea of how bad it is. And, I would rather be able to go to the town and say, can we spend this money before I put in 100 hours of putting this grant together, and pushing people to get me pricing, which sometimes you can't even get someone to come and look at it. They might say it's gonna be 3 weeks from now, and then they don't come at all. So, I would like to, I don't think we're ready to apply. What do you think, Kathy? Kathy? Okay. Can we let them know we're not ready? Thank you. All right, solid waste policy amendment.
This is about, this is my suggestion. Help me if I get it wrong. When we do bulky waste pickup, we should be picking up where there is an actual residence, not simply that somebody pays taxes.
Yes,
But if somebody has a building on it, no?
yes.
So if someone has a garage on there and they use that for working on their car or whatever, it's got a building that someone's using, they should be able to access it and they're paying taxes. But if there's no building and it's a field,
Exactly. That's what we're talking about.
If it's a house lot, there's no house on it, there's no dwelling on it, they shouldn't be using the facilities. If our property butted, if our property has the town line of Sumner go right through it, and I own property on both sides of the line, but my dwelling was on the Hartford side, I can't use the Buckfield dump.
Right.
Even though I own property in Sumner, my residence is in Hartford.
gotcha.
So we're not being so strict as to say, if you don't vote in Hartford, you can't use it, because people have summer residences here,
Right.
we get that.
Yeah.
But if you have a field,
You can't fill your field full of, gotcha. Yes, Leanne?
We're required to provide this service for everyone who is participating.
So.
that's why we're looking for a amendment.
In other words, if somebody, say somebody lives in New York.
Yep.
And they own a piece of land in Hartford. Should they be bringing truckload of bulky waste
From New York?
from New York to that piece of land?
It's not even necessarily the bulky waste, it was even the curbside that we were talking
Oh,
about.
we're talking curbside too? Oh,
Right.
I misunderstood, that's what I said, correct.
And this all came back from the dumpsters, because there are people that own property in Hartford that live in other towns that bring their weekly trash to Hartford dumpsters
Oh, yes.
and dump it in there weekly. Not once in a while.
Doesn't really.
They might even drive by the dump, I'm not even sure, but nevertheless, it's regardless, it's weekly.
If I own land in Turner, I cannot go to the transfer station unless it's my residence.
Right.
I can't use the transfer station in Buckfield if I own land in Buckfield, unless it's my residence.
Right.
I didn't generate the trash there. Think of it in terms of way trash is generated. It doesn't get generated in the field.
So Leanne, I don't know the original, policy, and you probably, I don't know, if you were here
Well, there is a
first started it.
The policy here, you have your copy.
Yeah, no, I mean, you made it sound like it was something
We
in
have
our
an
bylaws.
ordinance. We have an ordinance.
We have an ordinance.
This is a solid waste.
Okay.
So, we have to change the solid waste ordinance to be worded differently.
So what do you two think? Kathy. So, if we reach out to the ordinance committee and have, them work on that with the solid waste input.
Sure. So it shouldn't be too hard if there's an ordinance already in existence. Amend it.
Well, you wanna look at state law too.
Same state law for Turner, Buckfield, somewhere, applies to us.
I actually, a friend of ours owns a apartment building in Rumford and would bring his trash from here to Rumford every week and pick up the Rumford trash. And they caught on and said, you can no longer bring your Hartford trash here. It needs to be Rumford's only, period, end of story. And he owned the building outright in Rumford. It's not out of the line, it's the norm.
It's more than common.
Thank you.
Okay.
So you wanna make a motion to send it to the ordinance committee, is that what you said?
I would, but I'm hoping that the solid waste committee can write something up that sounds suitable based on the current policy. Is that all right? So I need to make a motion to that?
If you want to.
So I would like the solid waste committee to write up that item that they'd like to change for the current ordinance, and then pass it to the ordinance committee to put together.
I'm on the town of Hartford.com site, when you touch ordinances, it goes to hartfordmaine.weebly and you can't access it.
Some things don't work well here.
Maybe it's,
I've had that happen before.
Sometimes you have to refresh too.
I'll take a look at it later.
Thank you very much, Evan.
Sure.
All right, hall use benefit dinner.
Did you wanna update this or not for the tire seats or?
Oh, yes, we definitely want to update it for the tire fees.
Not making motion?
So I would like to make a motion to make sure that we, to update the solid waste policy so that the cost of recycling tires goes back out to the people that have the tires. The town does not pay for people's tires. Okay, all in favor? That will have to go out on Facebook too, just give people a heads up that the tire fee is increased at the recycling centers, and we're just gonna pass that cost along.
And it's $10, right? That's in our group, right on page 1. Recycling is always a problem. So hopefully, compost. Too much water. Just
Hey, what about
Slow shot.
my cell phone? All right. Okay, next, hall use benefit dinner. So from my understanding, the Masonic Lodge would like to do a benefit dinner for the Stevens family. What's the date? March 15th. March 15th, it's an hour and a half, right? And use the hall. They'll need to provide proof of insurance, but I'm already with, have insurance. Oh, they have insurance, great. Good things. All right, I'd like to make a motion that we waive the fee for the hall rental. They have their insurance. I need a second on that. Okay, all in favor? Great. This would be a good time for Lenny to tell me something.
What?
You guys want to use this for,
Great, you want me to do it now? Yeah. Oh, okay.
because that's all used, so I figured, why not?
Okay, yeah. We wanted to know, Hartford is finished. We need to, we don't have to collate at this time because we have a budget.
Nice.
Yeah,
So
so
you
you
want,
like to do it Thursday morning?
yeah, is that a conflict or is it anything over? Can they hear? Oh, Thursday morning, can you let them in?
Yeah.
You gotta help?
Have this covered, gang.
Okay.
Is that?
Cover gang.
Yeah, sometimes.
So, we do require liability, can you ask, your insurance company's gonna let you. Can you handle that?
Yeah.
Thank you.
All we need is just liability.
I just tell them, we get blank piece of paper, we get blank date in.
All right, I'll put that word out.
What is that, this Thursday?
So I just want to make a motion
Not
that,
supposed to start till the afternoon.
that the Hartford News, would like to use the hall on, Thursday morning, and I don't wanna charge them a fee, so. So we're all good with that, Kathy's gonna cover the insurance, all in favor?
Tangled into your work there.
Okay, all good? All right, invoice payment policy, spending and purchasing policy. So part of what came through, we've been looking at a lot of the policies, but some of our audit information talked about setting up a better procedure for processing, authorizing payments and making payments. And so, we have, let me get to that page. All right. So part of that, I wrote a new policy, invoice payment policy, based on what some of the other towns were doing. And so the purpose would be, of this policy is to establish a clear and consistent procedure for processing payments for all town services and contracted work over $100, ensuring proper accountability and quality job completion. Right now, when an invoice comes in, Leanne just schedules it. It does get cold in here, huh?
The heat pump's making a weird noise out here, so,
The kitchen?
yeah. No, it's the, I don't know which one it's for, but it's out by the ramp.
Okay, shut it off. Maybe it's normal.
They don't like the cold.
No.
They don't. It's interesting, it's cold. So, basically, when an invoice comes in, say it even comes in Monday and there's a Tuesday Board of Selectmen's meeting, Leanne automatically takes that invoice and processes a check. There's no check and balance, there's no, and then when we arrive on a Tuesday, we get this big packet, which I looked at tonight at 5:15, of all the checks that were processed. What the auditor felt and the way we often feel is we feel like, wow, we don't even know if this stuff's been done yet. Including like when we cut the check for the IT stuff, Leanne had suggested that we hold that check for a while because she was unhappy with this stuff. And he came back or worked with her and got it working for the moment. But again, we're still having issues. So, basically, this talks about when an invoice comes in, we want time to make sure that whatever we bought is here. That like salt or tar patch or a new computer. We just got billed in this invoice in our checks this week to reset the old laptop, which I thought was already done, but he hadn't done that yet. So this policy would give us a chance to verify that the payment's been processed, whatever we purchased is here, and it's what we ordered, it's what's been done. And then, so invoice submission for every purchase service made, and these numbers can change, but I put over $50, an invoice will be submitted within 30 days of a service or job completion. So if somebody does work for the town, or we purchase something from them, we need an invoice within 30 days, not 3 months from now, or. Then, the invoice must contain vendor information, name, address, contact details, specific date of work, that when it was done, and the location of the work, and the date it was completed. If job is done on multiple days, it's the dates that the work was done. A clear and detailed description of the work or service, the invoice amount, who authorized that to be done. Every invoice needs to be authorized. We can't just spend the money and have it show up. So, which also is what the auditor said, so we're trying to match what they want. So when we know money's going out, unless it's an emergency, we get pre-authorization. Yes, go buy this, or yes, go fix this road, or okay, you can purchase a new air conditioner or something like that. So once the purchase order's been done and which account it's gonna go under. So whoever approves it, which number is it going under? Is it office equipment? Is it road work? Is it contracted labor? Is it IT? So all that will need to be in. And then invoice review, the select board will review the invoice and before the payment's processed, and will initial the invoice. Leanne will then process the payment. The select board will take no longer than 30 days after receipt of an invoice to confirm work is complete, so invoice can be paid timely. There is plenty of time. I put 30 days because that's what other towns have, but, you know, I think if we get an invoice on, I don't know, Thursday of one week, if we verify that the work's done, or the piece of equipment's arrived, or the signage has come, or whatever it is we've ordered, once we verify that, we just initial it and it goes to Leanne for payment. So, but just so that if we get the invoice within 30 days, we should be turning that around as quickly as possible. A maximum of 30 days, just to verify the work's done. I can't imagine it would ever take that long, if you ever were waiting for something. Next part of that is compliance and penalties. Non-compliance with this policy may result in corrective action, which could include revocation of contracting privilege or disciplinary measures if people have been ordering things that aren't appropriate or approved by the town. Department heads and responsible personnel are expected to ensure that all contracted services are made in accordance with the town regulations and guidelines. So Leanne would approve the IT stuff. Vim would approve contracting services. The select board would approve the purchases. So like when an invoice comes in and Vim is signed off and we know the work's been done, then we can initial it. Okay? Let's see. Responsibilities. The town clerk will oversee the implementation of the policy and ensure proper documentation is completed before the payment's processed. Of course, that means that we have to make sure we've approved it first. The select board would ensure the contracted work and services are confirmed complete and sign the invoice so that you get paid. Exceptions. Any exceptions to this policy must be approved in writing by the select board. All exceptions will be documented and reviewed to ensure compliance with the town's financial and operational objectives. And that also includes emergency stuff. We don't just go ahead and do it. We all communicate. When there's an emergency, things have to get done. But there's still either a written trail or a notice that says, hey, we've asked you to take this tree out of the road, or, and we're gonna work on a better way of communicating. We just had our generator not working. I just found out about it, and it's almost a $600 bill. Kathy took care of it, but we just need to, it's all about communications. And who's coming and where are we gonna bill it to, okay? So, this policy will be reviewed annually by the select board and may be amended as necessary to meet evolving needs or changes in town regulations. So, and then, so that's the policy. Feedback, anybody?
I have one. if you don't mind.
No,
You mentioned that, and I'm just gonna use this one, BIM, you said BIM does all road construction and this and that, I'm good with that.
he's
but
supposed to oversee projects.
He oversees projects, how can he oversee if we feel comfortable that he's overseeing his own work? So if he's overseeing somebody else's work, we're easier to say, this isn't right, but if I'm overseeing my own work, how do I say, the checks and balances isn't there if it's his own work?
That is correct, Paul. It's one of the reasons why the select board, we have to look at the road commissioner position as a position, and not the person that's in it. But the road commissioner would have to sign off on any work done here in town that it's been approved, but then the select board is still, before that date gets paid, we have to go verify that it's been done and the dates he said it was done, not something that was done 2 years ago.
Right, so the select board is gonna double check up on stuff that he's approved.
Yeah, and the road
Or
committee,
somebody.
'cause- right, yeah,
Okay.
be a team.
Fine.
And I know you weren't here at a previous meeting because you were on vacation.
That's how I do things.
We have some new policies in place for putting things out to bid, so we expect, it'll be great opportunities for a lot of local
Oh, that's good.
vendors, so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Any comments, any thoughts? Yes, Dave.
So the board might want to think about, for example, the town of Canton. They have 5 board members, and they break up different departments to each member of the select board. So they call them liaisons. So you might want to look at that possibly for the future. Maybe someone overseeing solid waste, someone overseeing, road work, and whatnot. But just something to think about possibly.
Okay,
I think all 3 of you need to know.
I think that the hardest part is, with all of our schedules being as varied as they are, that we do complement each other. When one person can't go, another person can go, like I'll be handling tomorrow's meeting, so that Leanne doesn't feel like I'm up to dry with the workers' comp people, so she's got a great handle on it. But, I think right now we'll try it, if we don't make any changes to this. But it is a good idea, especially those with their expertise. Yeah. Okay, I'll second that motion to adopt it.
I'm sorry, which one?
We're just doing, the invoice payment policy. That's
So
the
you're
first.
adopting this?
No other feedback? All in favor? And then next we have the purchasing and inventory management policy. And so the purpose of that is, purpose of this policy is to establish a clear and consistent procedure for all town purchases, ensuring proper tracking, accountability, and transparency of inventory. This policy will require the use of work order data tracking sheet, an inventory list for each purchase, and the identification of responsible parties for inventory management and delegation of duties. So I know we don't have a whole slew of employees, but Leanne has already talked about getting a better handle on inventory. We just bought some hand tools and they're locked up. But we used to have a bunch of hand tools and they've just disappeared. And so we need a better inventory, better tracking of what we own, when we're gonna buy something, where it's going, so it doesn't take off and get borrowed and never returned, like chainsaws and stuff that we used to have here. So, I think that setting up this policy will be a big help. The scope of the policy says, this policy applies to all town departments, offices, and personnel involved in the procurement of goods and services for the town. It encompasses all purchases made with town funds, including but not limited to office supplies, equipment, materials, and capital assets. Work order data tracking sheet. For every purchase made at work order, tracking sheet must be completed, submitted to the designated town purchasing officer, which basically is almost always the end. And, let's see. Submitted to the designated town purchasing officer before any funds are expended. The work order must contain purchase description, vendor information, purchase amount, the date of purchase, purpose of the purchase, and then who approved it, and then what budget line is going to come out of, so that we have some sort of tracking. I don't think she should do that for pencils. I think that,
Stamps, certified letters, paper, I purchase stuff all the time.
right,
I
all the
do that
time.
for anything. It
I
says
think there should
every
be a
person.
dollar amount for the office stuff. She shouldn't have to fill out a form every time she wants to buy
Right.
new erasers or a
Right.
ink cartridge.
So we would have, you think you're gonna have to.
I need a raise.
Really. She's a purchasing agent. So where are we gonna put that, what would that amount be?
Winter sand, we purchase stuff all the time.
Right,
So what do we do with these inventory sheets after? For every invoice?
Is there, I'm hoping to have stuff e-filed. I asked you for something and there was.
Oh, so just, we just file the inventory forms, we don't do anything?
What are you asking me?
What do we do with the inventory forms that's gonna be submitted with each invoice?
right. So that we know, so like, we did the salt contract last spring. So we already committed to buying salt, and they deliver it when we need it. So,
Oh, so that doesn't count?
no, it does count, I'm giving her an example. So we wouldn't need to fill out a form every single time the salt came, we already know the salt's coming. So when we purchased the salt last fall, right? Whatever that's basically, it would say per salt contract, March 2024.
So would we need inventory form for salt?
What's that?
Why would we need an inventory form for salt?
No, to me, you don't need it. That on the invoice, you just write per contract. That we purchase salt already. We already made the decision to buy
That's
it.
not what this does.
This is saying for everything you buy.
Every invoice.
Like, we don't just buy salt, it's a one-time thing, it's.
Right, we do have a contract, so I'm just saying, wouldn't we just fill one out, and then every time the salt arrived? Because we just got our last load.
This is why it's draft.
Right,
This is why we're discussing it. So,
but the auditor felt it was, we needed to have some sort of policy, so.
the cap. And then do you want to, pencils, erasers, exclude office equipment?
Office supplies.
But the invoice has all this information.
I think what we're looking for is before it gets purchased, and we're really not concerned about pencils, erasers, staples,
Supplies.
those type of things. We're concerned about, oh, here's a new printer, or here's,
Like the laptop that disappeared.
like the laptop that disappeared, or, I don't like inventory tracking, but wait, this,
We've tried to see how it works.
looking at the invoice, I mean, we got CMP and they're all under $100. We certainly don't need to authorize CMP payments. Oil,
Heating oil.
heating oil.
So we'll adjust
We
this.
get inventory on this heating oil.
We actually have some spare, don't we, Catherine? We have spare heating oil, sitting in the tank outside the garage.
So what do you want to exclude? What's the everyday stuff?
Operating expenses.
All right, exclude operating expenses.
Yeah.
As long as they keep receipts, why not?
House supplies.
Can you do operating expenses and set an amount after that? For operating expenses in anything over, or under, excluding operating expenses in any under a certain amount, doesn't meet. I don't know. There's not much communication going on up there, so we're trying to get the conversation going.
Yeah. We're processing.
So what else is about? I don't want to make this hard.
Well, you remember how we developed the law for like the work order? So really, this is a purchase order, right? So it's a purchase order form that we can use that just says anything out of the ordinary that isn't our general operating stuff. This is what I want to buy. Like when Leanne bought picnic tables, we already got it approved. But that would be the purchase order. We could have done it that Tuesday night, picnic tables for rec committee. And then she ordered them and
I guess I will edit this and I'll send it out. That's why we're discussing it.
it's not supposed to be a burden, it's supposed to just be a.
Oh, that's great. I already have a list of the dates, amount, and we got it from.
Just want to.
This wouldn't have, right? Inventory entry, there's some stuff that comes in that we want to be aware of before it just shows up. All right, we'll work on it.
For you 2 cents and.
Now I move my agenda. Okay. Okay. Buy Nothing event, May 30th to June 1st.
Okay, the solid waste committee would like, solid waste and recycling committee would like to sponsor another Buy Nothing event. Friday night, drop off 4 to 7. I think that's how we do it, 3 to 7. Saturday, come get what you want and leave, and then Sunday cleanup. So we're avoiding election and town meeting.
Yeah. And it's people bulky waste, so hopefully we can redistribute
That's
that
part
bulky
of the part of the plan. What is this, the fourth one? Fourth one?
Yeah, it's your fourth one.
It's getting bigger.
The calendar was free.
Yeah, right?
You already tapped it over. You already tapped it over.
So I'd like to make a motion that the solid waste and recycling committee have a hall for their Buy Nothing sale. On May 30th to June 1st. I won't let Rusty go. He must go.
It's too much trouble.
Not let it go. No, you will not. Do not tell him. Second it, all in favor?
Who seconded it?
I can.
And since you are a committee of the town, of course, you don't need liability for all yours. All right, we're gonna do a executive committee meeting. You're gonna stay here. No, you stay here. We're gonna go to the kitchen. Ready, girls? Ladies?
Who made the motion to enter into the?
I'd like to make a motion, we're gonna enter into executive. Okay, all in favor?
She was great.
Might wait my soup on here.
Vivian, I meant to tell you today. I meant to tell you today.
Oh, you need to have it. What's the name of the,
It's absolutely mindless to make clear that this is that. There's.
Yes.
I have books made up, I can give you a whole book of ordinances if you have one. I'm telling you.
Okay, thanks. I'll struggle with it.
So, where's the? Call it,
Oh, I know, that's one certain place. Certain walls.
we were just discussing that. Because I was doing all this stuff. Oh, I will look into that. The only reason I figured I had those Google Drives is because I got a new laptop. Yeah, because DocuSign, you have to get away from so much of time.
Yeah.
I mean, well, who asked Catherine, yeah. I have to let the budget, you know, need to have the scanner in our budget, because we get the scanning project grant. I was said that our budget request for the finance board was contingent on whether or not we got the grant. Since we didn't, we had both the budget, didn't know that we wanted the budget, the money budget.
Oh,
Okay.
It's really about trash being generated.
And then envelope, yeah, just goes to the planning board.
Everyone's gonna.
Yeah, it's a little more personal.
I use that for
Faster than my scanner, when my scanner takes forever.
Yeah, once you even commercial business.
Wow. Well, I mean,
I find it, works great when I read it.
Excellent hands for doing their taxes.
we could. I don't think I can work that well. I
We
mean.
can take that too. If you want to say 3 years taxes.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think that
I'm gonna go home because.
I don't know what they put
Solid waste ordinance.
Yeah, well, that's what, so your Google account is your Gmail and your Google Drive, and I'm working on all that, to make sure there's enough space for us, the other stuff we need to do, and I'm holding on to everything too, because I really figured out all this.
So maybe commercial property should be exempt from purpose.
Thank you so much.
They're planning that they talk about commercial dumpsters, there's only 2. They're planning to pick those up out of the.
Those are.
So what do you?
Well, the one I
Did you pay for it before you left?
That doesn't matter.
No, that was the lot.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, once
Yeah,
they-
It's not good.
It's not
What meeting is not in today's world.
Right.
Maybe it's one of the things.
Right. Executive session about job. Right. They're talking about it, I don't know. I know the town was.
Did you get records on that too?
No,
Everybody right, I looked up and they're all gone. I just wanted to suggest to Susan, when she's doing the research, she started using data hours, so much research, so much.
Data has uses it for everything.
Yes. Well, yeah. Because I have a bill that's.
Yeah.
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 My house, yeah.
$80 for 3 items. Every other is a one.
You had a good time?
You don't get the sites like you do.
He says, oh, that was that.
Yeah, Dave and I were training. I started out one time.
You can talk down to us all nice.
Yeah.
So I realized they're all different, like, son-in-laws.
We like to try to visit a different place every year.
Yes.
Next year, we're gonna
What interesting.
Yes,
Look at our.
I'm gonna push the tax refunds.
Oh, that was absolutely. It's really.
21 years. You guys are missing the lot. Yes.
I cast it in motion to exit.
Next meeting, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law, she was great. She's sitting there, she's like,
Oh, she's like,
I said, I said, taking like attention. So she was, I was, she's so, she's
okay, we are coming back on to executive session.
watch those boys in the corner.
They're naughty.
No.
Did you, Dave wanted me to ask you, did you?
Okay, we're going back into session. Appointments and resignations. We still do not have an emergency management director, and we do not have a health officer. We are,
Did you make a decision on your?
yes, we did. Yeah, we're gonna make a job offer.
Well, I need to hear it, you need to make a motion.
Oh, I didn't know, what if he says no? So we make a motion first and then, okay. So, we'd like to make a motion to offer that job to John.
Which, the
The maintenance job.
just one couple, and cost, yeah, I think I just get.
John Hassan. And I will be calling him, who is making the job offer, as well as list of tasks that we've gone for, getting to speak before. And protocol of signing time sheet every time he works. So,
The only thing before we move on to appointments and resignations, which kind of
I need
are.
a second on this one.
all in favor?
Okay.
I'd like to get with all the ordinance stuff that we're throwing on the ordinance committee, I'd like to get stuff. We already have the administrative, can't talk.
Administrative ordinance.
Yeah, it's ready. Go ahead and send that. Are you guys good with that? Send that down and just as they trickle in, because who knows if we're waiting for stuff. I just assume it's done, get it done, get it back there.
Send it to who?
To the lawyers.
Yeah, I already did.
Oh, you're right.
Okay.
I thought you were waiting. At one of the meetings, you said, well, why don't I just wait until more stuff comes in? And you,
No, you made a motion to send it at the last meeting.
So the administrative one.
okay,
We're moving forward. Yeah,
I missed that, sorry.
all right. Is there anything else besides going on to appointments and resignations? Okay, so emergency management director, we are required to have one and we don't. We've not had any interest in that. I would like to make a motion, if she'll accept, that between now and the end of our fiscal year, I'm wondering if Leanne will consider being the emergency management director, and we will give her that stipend. She's already doing it, because we have to have one. So if she'll consider doing it on a formal basis, the stipend will go to her,
And how about until you find someone?
until we find someone.
Would Jamie want to do it?
I don't know.
She, oh, she is there? Maybe you should ask her.
Well, she might wanna know what the job entails, and if you were doing it, you could show it to her. Do you think she'd just say yes, no, no? Who knows?
And should name, that's some of the best things.
Can I ask her? I think we should ask her.
Okay. But in the meantime, will you still do it? Because I know you're doing it already. If something goes wrong, we're calling you.
Yeah,
Or they're calling me.
If it is.
What do you think?
it's up to you. You guys are appointing. Either if Jamie is not supposed to do. If Jamie is not supposed to work.
Right.
I just think that Leanne should do the work. And if Jalen's interested, we'll have her picked up training this year, she be trained. She doesn't know anything about emergency policy that we've set up for our emergencies in the community. And as Leanne just said, even if she took it, she'd have to train her on all the stuff first anyway, so. So I make a motion that we appoint Leanne as emergency management director. Until we get someone else that can do it. Great person to do it. Any discussion out there in the big group?
And give her the stipend.
Yes, and give us it.
Sounds like a good plan.
All in favor?
Regulated.
Under appointments and resignations, we don't have a health officer, so we'll keep asking around for that. But I do want to mention that it's not really an appointment or resignation, but Leanne is not used all of her vacation. And we were looking at dates on the calendar, she is not going to be able to take, she'll lose a week. Her annual date's March 7th. I just think we should extend it into April.
You can't take them between.
We were looking at what things are on the days, we have President's Day, we have meetings and every Tuesday we have meetings, so she can take Tuesday off. And then February, we have meeting Tuesday.
Definitely not.
It's all right. I'm not happy with that. All right, training, is there any training that anybody wants to go to, or
I think I sent you some NIMS trainings.
Yep.
And
GA? Is it GA day coming up?
is that right?
Is it coming up?
I can't remember the names.
I think it's, there are 2 dates out there.
It looks like, planning board, appeals board kind of stuff, coming up. This is gonna
I
be.
think they've all got it.
Great. Review correspondence, we do have a, we have an easement too, but, it's been well researched.
There's been a few people who have agreed to that, having that easement done, we're just waiting on them to go out and measure.
Okay.
Kraski's are okay, the Rands are okay, Hopper said he was okay, but I think this is okay.
What happens to the people that are not okay?
The problem is if we do some, any damage to the property or something bad happens on the property, we are in the whole town at risk. That's what happens. And it's an ordinance for any new roads or new stuff that we have to have from a easement.
Wave up.
For the ones that have been over 20 years.
That's, they used to have just agreements, written agreements, but Peter Kaufman recommends recorded easement.
And that's what we have in the ordinance too. When Bim and Jeremy were even on there, they wanted to do that. This is nice, huh? Did you see the information about? Pictures. The person that wrote the easement thing, did you read that? David? It said that, I don't remember his name.
Yes, they have, yeah.
Are we in agreement with that? Will we sign a waiver? Basically said he'd sign it. What's that? Yeah. Yeah.
He's not gonna do the other.
Well, he dated back to our policy from 1820 or something. Or he was mad
I
at
don't know, sometimes it's a legal thing.
Our job is to protect the town. So I'm just doing that, making a good concerted effort. It was cool, look at his plans for the road when he's coming. He said it's gonna be forest land. Chicken feeding. Really? Why?
Otherwise, you come see me someday.
He's a big deal.
Really?
Oh, that's good.
Something we can, we'll go up.
Yeah.
We'll go crazy.
No.
Oh, I want to go to, this guy goes to Africa, Argentina, big game of it.
I'll take that road. I'll bring it back. Okay. And agenda items for next meeting. Just unbalance. Will we be making decisions about firefighter stuff at that one, since we meet with them next week? I don't know, I've never been through that
Yes,
process.
there's no decisions to be made anyway. It's kind of voted by the committee and the town meeting warrant article to be approved.
Right. Hopefully next week she can come up with some. The pricing that makes sense. I know they'll probably come with a price anyway, but
She's going there.
I'm hoping it's not double their residence rate.
We're trying to get information together, and their files all out.
Can we have that because they really fit? Can we have that?
Don't push it today.
So it's 6 o'clock next Tuesday?
Yes.
Should we get like little treats for them? Snacks and water. I want to be, I still try to bundle up. They could be saving us. I'm like the California lady that says, wow, I haven't seen you from the 5 centuries.
Do we need to do anything?
Yes.
Yes,
What?
dumpsters at the next meeting?
Anything specific or just dumpsters?
Just dumpsters.
How many of the towns should be paying for?
Was that?
Which one should the town be paying for?
And I'll have those, I'm actually gonna have those magnets done probably early next week, if not this week.
We're gonna put them up, we're gonna take pictures, we're gonna keep on going, and yeah, we really should talk about why are we paying for dumpsters here, and do we really need to? We should talk about each dumpster and decide whether or not we should continue to pay for that dumpster.
So from my understanding,
From the ones I see, it looks like they didn't use the most. One on Lebanon Pond Road, and maybe Pine Shores. Where it was.
West Coast looks like it's getting pretty.
yeah, there's a bunch of Turner stuff in the West Coast.
Really?
Big box right there with the guy's name on it from Turner.
How many people use that one in West Cove?
Well, it's only supposed to be, I don't know, like 11, maybe.
Is that one going?
9 or 10. So ours has got about 28 families on Garden Drive.
4 yard or 2?
We're a 10 yarder.
We had 10 yard.
There could be a lot more. We got all of McSherry, all down Blueberry, and then Garden Drive.
So the one
West
on
Cove is
West
across,
Cove was full.
literally, over by, right across the street from Cove.
Okay.
And it's in full sight. Anyone driving down 219 can see it.
Yeah.
How many people use Labrador Pond?
It's only supposed to be like 5 or 6.
That was really getting to do with something.
Yes.
It's too bad, yeah. And then
Why
we
can't they put their trash at the end of the road like they do on,
38.
off Stetson Road, there's a, yeah, at Gurney Hill too, but off Stetson Road, that dirt road there, they put their trash on the end of the road, on the corner.
Right.
3 acres. They put it on the corner.
West Cove could do the same
It's
thing.
not gonna make it either, I can't think of anything.
West Cove could come up and put their trash up there. Up there where the dumpster is right now.
For 5 people, why not? Just put it on the corner.
Then you don't have refrigerators, stoves.
You know, that trash.
Out at Labrador Pond, because otherwise that dumpster's gonna be moved. It's just too,
You know what, I bet they still do it.
Well, then the landowner should stop
well, or I don't know how, I guess I don't know on Labrador Pond Road where the first house is when you first go down. But it's hard. Is it quite a ways?
Yeah, you come into that intersection, and you have to come to the house, that's where it is.
This is down the road and.
Well, I just didn't know how far that first house was, and whether they got, there's a place near there that they could put their
it.
trash.
There's a lot of people close to the town of Sunland, the people there.
I know.
Exactly.
Isn't that part of Athens?
I'm sure.
No, I don't know why they just keep looking, turn around and back. It's still your road, but.
I know.
All the way down to Lee's or all the way down to Adams?
Still your road, turn around.
Could they put their trash at Adams instead?
They ain't gonna do that.
That's the name of the road, Adams Road off Stetson. But that they put theirs,
They get rid of
Yeah, they bring it all the way.
It's further than where they are now. I don't know what they're gonna do next.
I know.
Unless they could watch it. Right, it needs to be near people. You can't just leave it out in the middle of nowhere because that's when, how are we gonna know those trash cans belong to those people?
have to get in on it.
But how's this gonna work? This guy says he's gonna have dumpsters with locks on them. Now, how, every household gonna have a key?
Well, yeah, that's gonna be a combination.
Big combo.
Yeah, it's common.
Good night, Peggy.
Love to hear about your DC trip when you get a moment.
Can I ask you for something else on the next agenda?
Yeah.
Well, you talked about FEMA this week, but you didn't say where that money was supposedly is allocated to certain roads?
Yeah.
How much and what roads? How much is allocated to what road?
You want a copy of it?
Find out, no, I would like it said in public.
Well, there's several. Well, that's okay. You want the longitude and latitude of each section of each road of where we have
That's
to.
what we
No,
have to
I
do.
want to know in a dollar amount.
But it's not, just know that it's a certain piece of the road, it's not the whole road, it's this section that got washed out that they just mended, but it's not.
So when I'm sitting on the budget committee, I want to know how much FEMA money is already allocated to this road for what reason.
Okay,
There's a whole list, it's right here.
So that should be accessible to the public or anyone that asks a question. And it was asked tonight, but it wasn't available.
Yes,
Is that
it's available.
possible?
I didn't hear anybody ask that tonight.
just ask for a FEMA update, which is what I gave.
I have it all right here. There's prices, roads, sections of road, longitude, latitudes,
And a lot of the work has been done.
No, a lot of the work,
emergency work, some has some.
yeah, the emergency work's been done. A permanent fix on some of these roads, not been done.
Please tell me not on Darrington, they put
Oh,
on
yes, it
one
is.
is that Dane Road.
It's,
How much
I'm disgusted about that.
hasn't been done in what roads? Dollar amount on what roads haven't been done and how much?
we'll get that together.
Get it.
I think we have a total amount and we'll break it down.
For each project is amount.
Maybe that should be given to the road committee to review.
Yeah. Stop wasting money that's usually needed for and stop wasting.
So I was told 79,000 that went into Darrington will get back. So there must be some left over, not all of it's allocated,
Right,
correct?
300 and 400 and something, right?
476.
476.
I'm curious as to how much is allocated or supposedly allocated, and when do we have to spend it? Do we have to
June
spend
of
it?
26.
June next year.
Anything else for next meeting? Okay, open session, anything?
That was it.
All right, meeting adjourned. I make a motion, we adjourn the meeting at 9:04. Did you get that cough up, is that good?
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.